So in 9.2, we're working with what we call regression lines, linear regression. So also it's kind of known as the line of best fit. What I want to look at is question 9 and using Excel to do this. So you don't necessarily have to input the data into the calculator. You can try to use Excel tools to do it. So question 9, we have some data involving shoe sizes and heights of 14 men. We want to find the equation of the regression line, then construct a scatter plot of the data and draw the regression line. Then use the regression line to predict the y value of each of the given x values, if meaningful. If the x value is not meaningful to predict the y value, explain why not. Okay, so let's go. I went on and exported our data to Excel. So we have our shoe sizes of 14 men, and we have their heights of these 14 men. What I can do in Excel is I can highlight this information. I can then hit insert. What I'm looking for is charts. So charts, there's a scatter plot on the first one. If I click on that, that'll generate our scatter plot. Now notice how there's a lot of wasted space here. Let's see here, that didn't look right. So if I click on the graph, some things I can do is hit the plus sign, axis titles. The x-axis is shoe size. So type shoe size, hit enter. The y-axis is going to be height of the men. Now, one of the things we can kind of pick up on is, as far as the scatter plot goes, there's a lot of wasted space on the x-axis. So what I can do is click on the x-axis by clicking around this area, so that turns into a little triangle-y thing. Let's see here. Looks like the thing to highlight. There it goes. See, it draws a little rectangle around it all. So just keep clicking until you get that. Over here on the far right now, we have a menu pop up, and then this far right one gives us these little bars here. It says axis options. So if I click on axis options, notice that my minimum value, I could probably make it, probably like 7.5 or something. And then hit enter there. And that'll kind of move things where it kind of fills the screen a little bit better. It looks like my heights fill the area just fine. So that's probably a good view of the the scatter plot. Now to do the line of best fit, again, if I click on the actual scatter plot, I have a menu over here on the far left now, add chart element. So if I click on add chart element, down at the bottom we have what's called a trend line. Our trend line looks like it's linear, so we go over here to linear and we click on that. Now, if I want to, I go over to the line of what we call now the line of best fit. I kind of double click it, and it gives me a menu over here. In my menu, I could change the color of the line, make it stand a little bit better, maybe choose it to be a red. Also, instead of dotted, I can come down here and notice how dash type, we can come down here and change this to solid. If we want that to be a little bit thicker, we can come up here to width and we can kind of up that up a little bit so it's a little bit thicker. So we kind of see our line of best fit. Now what I needed though is the equation for the line of best fit. So if I click back on our graph, notice how we have this quick layout. So click on quick layout. There's several of these that we can go through. The one that I'm picking up on is this one right here, because on this one right here, notice how it gives me my line of best fit equation. So if I click on that one, I can now grab this line of best fit and move it out of my graphics here. So I get this stuff to move. Let's see if that moved it. There you go. So kind of had to grab the top edge there to move it. So now it'll move around a little bit. So I grab that top edge and move it out. So right now what I could do is write my line of best fit. So I can't remember what the rounding was for question, uh, what number did we say that was? Question 9? It's question, I don't remember what the rounding was. So let's just say round to 2 decimal places. So well, I'll see if I can find the problem here. Go in, see. So the line of best fit, they say round to 2 decimal places. Okay. So we'll go back to our spreadsheet. So I'm going to put like an X here, and then I'm going to put a Y here, equals then. And what I'm going to do is create a formula for the line of best fit. So we're going to have 1.75. Now instead of an X, we're going to hit times. We're going to choose column B20. That's where my X values are going to come from. Plus then my y-intercept is going to be 52.64. Okay, so there's my line of best fit. Right now it turns to 52.64 because x is essentially not in the problem. So all it's given us is this y-intercept. So let's see if I can make this work here. Let's pull up these here. Let's see. Okay. So my line is best fit. I come over here. We can say y equals 1.75x plus 52.64. Now what we want to do though is we want to substitute these values for x into our formula and see which ones are meaningful and which ones are not. So the first one is 11.5. So if I go back to my graphic, or even my table for that matter, notice that 11.5 is within my range. Notice that 8.5 is my smallest. So you have to be pretty close to 8.5. And really, I don't know what my biggest. So what was my biggest X value? My biggest X value was 12.5. So you have to be close to 12.5. So your range has to be somewhere between 8.5 and 12.5. So outside that, then we get to be not meaningful. So 11.5 is meaningful. So what I can do for X is in this box here, I can put the 11.5 in. That's my shoe size. And that'll predict what the height of that person will be. So if we round that to, sometimes they round to the nearest whole number, sometimes they round to 2 decimal places. So I'm not really sure what they're doing here. So let's just round 2 decimal places. So 11.5, the predicted value would be 72.77. So 72.77. So close to 72 or 73 would be a predicted value. Now 8, notice how that's pretty close to 8.5. So I would think you could go ahead and use the 8. So if I go up here and change this to 8, because that's just a half a size off, we're predicting that person's height to be, again, this I believe is in inches. So y hat would be 66.64 inches. For 15.5 though, notice how 15.5 is a little bit out of our range here. So 15.5 is going to be, the y hat's not going to be meaningful since x is not in our range. So predicting person with a size 15.5 foot, predicting their height may not be best for this particular data. And notice how 10 does fall within our meaningful data. So if we compare and type a 10 in, looks like a 10. We get y hat again is going to be our predicted value. So we're predicting like 70.14 inches. So again, I'm not really sure how they ran there, but you can use your Excel to do that. So feel free to watch the video again on how we kind of made that scatter plot and the line of best fit materialize.